Hey sellers! What if I told you returns are officially one of the biggest hitting killers of e-commerce profits in 2026? Seriously, returns are everywhere. One report says returns could hit around $850 billion this year just in the US alone. That's more than the GDP of about 170 countries. And if you're selling apparel, yeah, it gets rough. Some categories see return rates that can go as high as 30 to 40%. It honestly feels like a lot of shoppers are now on this buy it, try it, return it autopilot. Alright, let's talk about why online returns have gotten so crazy in the first place. So let's look at some key data points. Across the industry, online return rates are much higher than what we see in physical stores. Brick-and-mortar shops usually stay in the single digits, often under 10%. Online though, depending on the category and the study, returns are often closer to 20% and sometimes even higher. And apparel is where it really stands out. Some industry reports show clothing return rates can reach 30, even 40%. That means for every 2 or 3 shirts you sell, one could come straight back. So why is it this bad? A big part of it is just customer behavior. A lot of shoppers don't buy one size anymore. They buy 3: small, medium, large. Try them all at home, keep one, and send the rest back. Retailers even have a name for this, it's called bracketing. And while that feels super convenient for customers, it's expensive on the seller side. Returns aren't free. They eat up your shipping budget, your labor time, your warehouse space. And in a lot of cases, that returned item can't even be resold at full price, or at all. Now, this isn't just theory or data from reports. Let's hear from real sellers out there, the kind of conversations you see every day on Reddit. A lot of sellers are saying the same thing. Returns have become a complete nightmare, especially if you're selling on more than one platform. Shopify, Amazon, Etsy, each one has different return rules, different labels, different workflows. So instead of running a business, you end up spending hours just trying to figure out where this return came from, who pays for shipping, and how to process it without getting penalized. And Etsy sellers in particular have been talking about something new. Some of them say they barely saw returns before, but recently, return requests are popping up way more often. And what really worries them is that returns don't just cost money, they can actually affect shop performance and visibility in Etsy's algorithm. So this isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet. These are real sellers dealing with real headaches every single day. So with all of this happening, higher returns, stricter rules, more pressure on sellers, the big question becomes, where does POD fit into all of this? And honestly, POD is actually in a pretty unique position right now. The first big advantage is customization. Most print-on-demand products are made to order. They're custom, they're personal, and because of that, they don't have to follow the same easy, no questions asked return expectations as generic products. You can clearly and politely tell customers that returns are accepted only for defects, not just because they changed their mind. That alone already filters out a lot of casual, abuse-type returns. The second big advantage? Most POD sellers don't hold inventory at all. There's no warehouse, no shelves, no piles of returned items stacking up like a garage sale after Christmas. That means no restocking costs, no dead stock, and way less stress when something does get returned. I've even seen dropshipping sellers say that once they switched to POD, their return headaches dropped dramatically, in some cases, almost to zero, and repeat customers actually went up. And the third advantage is about where consumer behavior is heading. People are loving personalized products right now. Mugs with their dog's face, shirts with inside jokes, gifts with names or personal messages. And when something feels personal, customers treat it differently. They're less likely to buy it casually, and way less likely to return it casually, because at that point, it's not just a product anymore. It means something. So POD isn't just surviving in this return-heavy environment. In a lot of ways, it's actually built for it. Alright, numbers and theory are great, But let's get practical. What actually helps your bottom line as a POD seller? Here are a few tactics that experienced POD sellers swear by. First tip, be very clear about your return policy, right on the product page. If your product is custom or made to order, say it upfront. Most platforms allow custom items to be returnable only for defects, not for size changes or "I changed my mind" situations. Clear wording sets expectations early, and honestly, it prevents a lot of problems before they even start. Second tip, use real, detailed mock-ups. The better your product photos are, the fewer surprises customers have when the order arrives. Show the fit, show the print, show different angles, add clear sizing charts, and make them easy to find. Less confusion upfront almost always means fewer returns later. And the third tip is huge, supplier quality. I've seen POD sellers share that once they upgraded to better suppliers, their return requests dropped to very low levels. And when defects did happen, good suppliers handled replacements quickly, without hurting the shop or creating long support threads. At the end of the day, better quality means fewer complaints, fewer refunds, and more repeat customers. None of these tips are complicated, but together, they make a massive difference in a high-return environment. Alright, let's zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture. Returns aren't going away. If anything, they're becoming a permanent part of online shopping. But here's the key difference. POD puts you in a position where the impact of returns matters more than the frequency. When customers pay for customization, they're more invested in the product. They're less likely to treat it as something they can just send back casually. So while returns still happen, the damage they do to your business is usually much lower. If you look at the industry as a whole, e-commerce returns have climbed a lot over the past few years. Back around 2019, average return rates were closer to the single digits. By 2025, online returns are sitting around the mid-teens or higher, depending on the category. That shift alone has forced sellers to rethink their entire business model. So if the rest of e-commerce is getting squeezed by returns, POD isn't bulletproof. Let's be real, but compared to a lot of other e-commerce models right now, it's in a much stronger place. And that's exactly why more sellers are either moving into POD or doubling down on it. So if you're pumped about POD but thinking, okay, I get it, but where do I even start? That's exactly where Inkedjoy comes in. Here's what we actually do for sellers. First, high-quality POD production. We're talking apparel, mugs, home goods, the kinds of products people actually love to buy and keep. Second, dropshipping fulfillment. You don't touch inventory, so there's almost zero risk of getting stuck with returns piling up. Third, numerous warehouses and faster shipping. And we've got warehouses in China, the US, and Australia. So no matter where your customers are, their orders get to them faster, which also means fewer complaints. Fourth, support for returns and quality issues. We'll help handle problems efficiently so your shop runs smoother. And finally, we even provide templates for clear return policies, so you can reduce disputes before they even happen. So yeah, Inkedjoy isn't here to hype you up. We're here to give you tools that actually make your POD business easier, smoother, and ready for a world where returns are just part of the game. So, if all these returns are stressing you out, POD could actually be a safer, more sustainable way to grow your e-commerce brand in 2026. And the good news? We're here to help you get started. Just click the link in the description to try Inkedjoy for free, and new users can get up to 40% off. And hey, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment with your biggest return headache, and let's figure out some solutions together. And if this video helped, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss future tips for running your POD business like a pro.